speaking about my life and experiences in DNC College, let me go back to the first day I set my foot in the portals of DNC College. It was in June 1972, 42 and a half years ago. And I was quite taken by surprise by this huge institution over here. At that time, never did I think that I would spend more than 2/3 of my life, especially my fruitful life or active life, in this house. Now that I have completed 42 and a half years here, and as I look back to my life here, I am so very happy. In fact, I consider myself as privileged to be part of this great Jesuit house. In fact, the largest Jesuit house in the whole world. From 1973 onwards, this has been the largest Jesuit house in the world. And as I think about DNC College, many things spring up in my thoughts. The first thing that strikes me is the DNC College and DNC community is a community of large-minded or broad-minded people. This I have expressed many times in the past in different fora. There is a certain class, a certain dignity, a certain respectability with regard to the members of DNC community, the staff members as well as the students. And as I say, there is a broad-mindedness and open-mindedness in them. And this expresses itself in so many different ways. One way I can think of spontaneously is that DNC College, the community, gives people space to be different. DNC College gives people time to learn from mistakes. We so very often learn more by our mistakes than by getting things right. And again, DNC College gives people freedom to grow and to blossom and to become fruitful. And this has been happening all these years. I can see many of the people who came to DNC College, I can think of them, came to DNC College. When they came, they were, we could say, raw. And when they went back and when they began their ministry, you could see a big difference. And this is, part of the greatness of DNC College. And that is why I used to talk about the JDV brand of priests. That is, the priests who come out of JDV, and of course this would mean DNC College, especially for the Jesuits. And the Jesuits are the best representative for this JDV brand. They are very different. They are very different in so many different ways. And in their attitude, in their way of thinking, their approach, in their dealing with other people, especially women and others, big difference. And this I have been talking of for many years, particularly when I was the president of JDV for 6.5 years. And I was a bit struck a few years ago when I was in Germany, speaking to one of the topmost officials of Missio. As you know, Missio has been helping JDV for so many years. And this particular lady was a top official, and she has visited JDV very many times, and she has visited many dioceses, parishes in India as part of her work. And I was, talking to her about JDV. We were spending quite a lot of time. Then I mentioned to her about the JDV brand of priests. Then she quietly told me, Job, as you were saying this, I began thinking. And I began remembering a number of occasions I had when I was visiting people, the various priests and stations in different parts of India. And she says, occasionally I bump into a particular priest who looks different, who behaves differently, who talks differently, and who conducts himself in the parish and other places differently. And she says, I get tempted to go and ask him, are you from JDV? And she says, always the answer was, yes, of course I am from JDV. And I was so much struck by this confirmation or this affirmation I received from her. And that is why I consider, a JDV brand of praise, and which is a tremendous contribution to the church in India. And our JDV students, including particularly DNC students, have taken off very challenging tasks in their respective mission stations or in respective dioceses or religious congregations and so on. And DNC, as you know, is closely linked with the JDV. In fact, DNC can be considered as the laboratory of JDV. In the sense, the special ideas, the special strategies and policies of JDV are best experimented, best put into practice in JDV, in DNC, and the DNC community and DNC environment. And that's why I think without any hesitation, DNC can be looked upon the laboratory of JDV for trying out JDV's innovative ideas, new way of thinking, and new way of dealing with people, dealing with the ministry, and so on. And so I find this my life in DNC, my life in JDV very meaningful, very fruitful, and I am really happy that I have been closely associated with DNC College, the largest Jesuit community in the whole world. And again, thinking about JDV students, JDV students and DNC students, I am again very much gratified, consider myself as fortunate to be associated with them. As I was telling the other day, that the thing which I will be missing, the experience that I will be missing most when I leave this place is the student involvement. The involvement of the student, the response of the students in the classroom and outside, particularly DNC College students. And whenever I gave certain challenging courses, a large number of DNC students took that course, and not only they took that course, they were actively involved, asking questions, intelligent questions, not just information-seeking questions, inspiration-seeking questions. Questions that will force me to think and even to reconsider some of my positions. This was a tremendous help for me. And that is why I used to tell, whenever I got an opportunity, that teaching is a two-way process. When a teacher teaches, surely he is sharing his knowledge, his expertise with the students, but he is also learning from the students. From the questions they ask, from the reaction they show, all these things encourage and even force a teacher to learn more, to understand more, to present his ideas in a different way. And in this context also, the DNC students were tremendously helpful to me. And I'm very happy about it, and I remain grateful to them. And so after spending so many years in DNC College, I go away with a certain joy of having carried out a mission with the best of my abilities, and joy of having received the support of the community members, especially the students, in carrying out the mission entrusted to me. As I say, my life in DNC College has been an enriching experience for me, a growth experience for me, a memorable experience for me, and I remain grateful to each and every one of the DNC community for making this possible. Thank you and God bless.